Hey, what's up? Yeah, Dangerous Voice of People's Choice, live and direct from New York City. We are going to react to a video real quick called Proof Season 1 is Killing Diablo 4. Let's find out.
Already, but I do want to provide a quick update on how Season 1 is tracking. Now, a lot of people took issue with my insinuation that Season 1 would kill the game, citing statistics released by Blizzard like these ones, which show more than 7 million characters created during Season 1, which is by any game standards amazing numbers. What these stats don't show you is how many of those players made seasonal characters, tested the new content, and then logged out forever. Since we don't have access to Blizzard's statistics, there's no real way to officially know the numbers, but we can look at some other indicators. For example, we could look at sites that claim to track numbers, but they are all wildly different and pretty much pulling numbers out of their ass. So instead, let's take a look at Twitch viewers. Obviously, the number of Twitch viewers doesn't directly relate to how many people are playing a game, but it does say something about a game's overall popularity. For example, if nobody gives a shit about the game, nobody's going to be streaming it or watching it on Twitch. Now, both Twitch and Sully Gnome show downwards trends in the number of channels streaming and the number of viewers watching Diablo 4 in the last 7 days. And if we zoom these graphs out, we can see that there's been a dramatic decrease in the number of viewers and streamers playing and watching Diablo 4. But all games experience this kind of drop off after a big launch, so let's take a look at just Season 1. This spike here is the 20th of July, the first day of Season 1, which shows 278,672 peak viewers. On day 13 of Season 1, which is today, we have a peak of 7,803 viewers. That's a decrease in Diablo 4 viewers of 97.2% in the first 2 weeks of a 3-month-long season, and a 96.5% overall decrease since the launch of the game. Now, I'm not saying that the drop in the number of players in the first week of Season 1 directly translates to 97.2% like it has on Twitch, but I think it does paint a pretty bleak picture of how Season 1 is performing. For instance, the peak viewership on Twitch was 941,488 people, which is absolutely incredible, and is approximately 10% of Blizzard's overall game sales of 9.5 million at the time, which means that at this point in time, the Twitch statistics represented approximately 10% of the overall player base of Diablo 4.
So that's what I always say. The Twitch numbers never tell the whole story. Because, number one, a lot of Twitch streamers and gaming content creators, we play games differently. Like, a lot of times we're doing what I call no-lifing the game. So what we're doing is we're playing the game for a long period of time as much as we can. So we'll play Diablo for 12 hours a day for like a week, something like that. Something that's like this long burst of gaming before we move on to the next game. So that's why, like, when they be like, oh yeah, it's dying on Twitch, even with other games, like another game that we play here on the channel is Warframe. Now Warframe is like, it'll barely be above 1 or 2K viewers on Twitch, but it's a top 30 game on Steam. Like, averages 10,000 players a week, active players weekly. So it's a popular game, probably just not on Twitch.
Assuming that this is still the case, this would mean that the Twitch peak of 278,601 was analogous to approximately 2.7 million active players, which is still a huge number, but it's a far cry from the 7.2 million characters created Blizzard is using to artificially inflate the game's popularity. But if we look at the current peak number of Twitch viewers of 23,000, this indicates an overall player base of just 230,000, which is a 92% decrease since the beginning of Season 1. Now, obviously this is speculative. We can't know if Twitch viewers continue to represent 10% of the overall player base consistently, but since we know that it did represent that much originally, and 23,000 concurrent players is in line with what other similar games are doing, like Path of Exile and Lost Ark for example, it seems like a fairly reasonable assumption that I'm sure the comments will tear me to pieces for. I personally think that the number of concurrent players is way higher than 23,000, but this percentage decrease, which does...
Yeah, Lost Ark and Path of Exile are in that same vein of Diablo 4, like the ARPGs. But I know, like, they both have large international audiences. Like, Lost Ark is a Korean-based game, so they have a large international audience. Path of Exile has a large international audience as well. So I think a lot of those numbers, the global numbers, are making that game, you know, have those numbers on stream. Those are popular games too. And then one also like it's classified as an MMO, so like a lot of those games will have long standing player bases. So kind of hard to compare to Diablo 4, even though they're like the same style of game sometimes. If you just look at them.
Doesn't actually rely on numbers of players, it's just a percentage, is very concerning for the longevity of the game. Now, if we go over and take a look at the Diablo 4 subreddit, we can also see that the overwhelming majority of the posts express a negative sentiment towards the game. Now, I particularly like this one: never met a horse that gets tired after sprinting 30 yards, source watched videos of horses, and this one that requests the devs to play through a high tier nightmare dungeon with a build not copied from Max Roll in order to show us how the game is balanced and what their vision truly is. Like that's ever going to happen. Blizzard themselves are also advertising 4 new positions on the Diablo team, including a lead season designer. Now, we don't know if this is a completely new position or the role has been vacated, but you could interpret this one of 2 ways. Either the launch of Diablo 4 and the subsequent Season 1 has done so incredibly well that Blizzard is hiring an additional lead season designer in order to bump up their standards and really invest in delivering some incredible seasonal content. Or the backlash from Season 1 has been so absolute that they are starting from scratch with a brand new lead season designer. Since the advertisement doesn't state co-lead season designer, the player base has clearly dramatically declined, and the only thing Blizzard cares about is sucking in players' credit cards for the next battle pass. I'm leaning towards the latter. On top of these declines, there's also been some pretty serious game-breaking bugs discovered before and after the beginning of the season. For instance, there's an infinite gold glitch in the Eternal Realm right now that's been in the game for nobody knows how long. But hey, Eternal Realm is kind of whatever at this point anyway, right? It's not like you could trade gold or even items to your seasonal character anyway, so who cares? Yeah, about that. It turns out that there's also a bug that allows you to not only trade items and gold from your Eternal characters to your seasonal characters, but the guy who found it thinks you can even use it to power level those seasonal characters using high tier nightmare dungeons with your Eternal character. They also speculated that it would be possible to move seasonal mechanics like the Malignant Hearts into the Eternal Realm. Now, the reason I'm even bringing these problems up is because I care about this game. It's the reason I made the first video, it's the reason I'm making this second one.
Diablo 4
historically, Blizzard won't do anything unless their hand is forced. This is how they've always been. This is how they've been with World of Warcraft and Overwatch, and it's how they're going to be with Diablo. And that's why people are coming forward and reporting on these bugs.
Blizzard is trying to milk games. Like, I know, like, that's going on with Overwatch 2 right now. And, of course, Call of Duty. With Activision Blizzard, but I mean, I've been enjoying Diablo 4 so far. I'm brand new to the game. I'm only playing the game a few weeks, so a lot of stuff people are complaining about is like a lot of end game stuff and just nightmare dungeon stuff, all like the end game stuff. It's kind of like, people are complaining about the game, but then I always tell people, like, if you're complaining about the game so much, like, why do you continue to play it? Want it to get better. And I'm like, because I know a game that if I'm complaining about the game that much, I'm probably not going to be playing the game that much. These folks just want something to complain about.
Bugs in the public space, because this infinite gold bug has been in the game for weeks or even months, or possibly even since the game launched, and Blizzard have done nothing despite people reporting it, and they're going to continue to treat us like this and deliver dog shit if we don't hold them accountable. So yeah, Season 1 sucks, it sucks that it sucks, and I think there's ample evidence here showing that most people agree that it sucks. The question is, can Blizzard lift Diablo 4 up from the ashes the same way they did with Diablo 3, which also had a famously terrible launch? I'll be waiting, and I really genuinely hope they do, but in the meantime, I'll be playing other games, and I've got a video listing the best Diablo 4 alternatives to play in 2023 coming out tomorrow for those of you who haven't quite had your ARPG itch scratched. Again, thank you guys so much for the incredible support of my last video, and an absolutely massive shout out to the people on screen who subscribe to me on Twitch and help to support what I do. If you want to join us on Twitch, you can find links to that in the description, as well as links to my other channel where I post archaeology and history content.
So, some of my final thoughts. They talked a lot about content that it's a lot of end game stuff. It's a lot of like small intricate stuff that they're like complaining about. I mean, they're talking about how they're trying to push the battle passes and how they're trying to monetize the game, because that's the name of the game right now. Everybody's trying to live service, microtransaction the hell out of their games just to suck more out of their game instead of delivering like a complete game. That's why, like, right now we're gonna do another video on this. Like, Baldur's Gate right now is like has the rest of the industry mad because Baldur's Gate just delivered a complete game that was a really deep game too. Like, so there's a lot of content in the game, and it's a lot of really deep, intricate like systems in that game, Baldur's Gate 3, and they just delivered the whole entire game like that. Okay, just here's all the content for the game. You buy it one time. There's a lot for you to do. You know, go nuts. And then the rest of the industry is like, yo, what the hell? I can't, like, kind of like, y'all can't do that. And it was like, why not? So, right, that's why it's getting all the praise right now. And a lot of other games like Diablo and everybody else isn't doing that. Like, they're doing like seasonal content, battle passes, microtransactions. And here's a game that actually ended up being really good that didn't do that. So this is basically what this one guy is complaining about, like the battle passes, microtransaction, and then like the little intricate stuff in the game. I mean, even though like the stuff he complained about, he also showed the exploits for it too. So I don't know. Folks just like to complain, man. Folks just like to complain. I see that all the time in gaming. Something that needs to stop. People complain about a game that they're playing, and then they won't stop playing it. Like other game genres like NBA 2K and stuff like that, they complain to death and they won't stop playing the game. So I'm like, you're not even trying to vote with your wallet in a sense. Like, I love sports games growing up, and like Madden, NBA Live, NBA 2K, also, but they pump out the same game every year and it wasn't improving, and then in a lot of cases the games was getting worse. So what I did was like, I voted with my wallet. I ain't gonna play until y'all make this joint better. It's been some years now, so me coming back to the game now, I might be like, oh wow, they improved a lot of stuff now, because it's been like over 10 years since I actually played like a sports game. Shoot, it's been a while since I even played a Diablo game, because I played Diablo 2. I never picked up Resurrected, and then I picked up 4, and I've been enjoying it compared to what I played before. So maybe that's a strategy. Maybe that's a strategy. No. Yeah. So let me know what your thoughts, comments, bitches, grabs, and complaints, whatever your thoughts are, in the comments below. Let me know. All right. God bless. Good night. Peace. Thank you for watching.